News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Topping our news at 10, a Delta man dies in a house fire in Drew last night. Authorities are not releasing the name of the victim pending notification of his family.
Apparently, the unidentified man was staying in an abandoned home when it caught fire. The cause of the fire is under investigation. In
other news, in Lafleur County, a bomb threat at Mississippi Valley State cancels all classes today. Authorities have decided to go ahead and continue the cancellation into tomorrow for the university.
The bomb threat also includes the university's campus in Itabena in the Lafleur County Civic Center. All of the campus buildings and rooms in the Civic Center are currently being swept by federal and local law enforcement. For safety, anyone arriving on the school's campus will have to present identification before entering and once again before leaving any building. Classes will resume Tuesday after the Martin Luther King holiday on Monday.
Bond has been set for a Greenville man accused of six counts of armed robbery and the attempted murder of a security guard. The bond for Damian Williams has been set at $10 million. Williams was arrested last week after a robbery and shootout at the Exxon gas station on Highway 1. To recap, Williams faces multiple charges, including attempted armed robbery, attempted murder, and 6 counts, again, of armed robbery. He's being held at the Washington County Regional Correctional Facility. Williams is charged with the attempted murder of security guard Woodrow Guerin while attempting to stop the robbery on January 8th, Guerin was shot in the jaw and apparently in the shoulder. Guerin was treated and released from Delta Regional Medical Center.
The president of the Mississippi State Medical Association says teaching children about exercise and proper nutrition could help reverse some of the state's health trends. Dr. James Risch of Tupelo released the state's annual public health record report card today at the Capitol. It shows Mississippi is worst in the nation for heart disease and for low birth weight babies. The Magnolia State also has the second highest rate of diabetes, obesity, cancer deaths, and teen births. Risch said he would like to see more Mississippians covered by health insurance, but the association is not taking a position on whether lawmakers should expand Medicaid, the government health insurance program for the needy. Governor Phil Bryant and fellow Republicans who lead the state House and Senate oppose expansion, while many Democrats favor it.
A man pleads guilty to transporting a woman across state lines for the purposes of prostitution. The guilty plea is part of a kidnapping and human trafficking investigation. Ruperto Mancillo Flores and another man were arrested June 27th after a woman notified Hattiesburg police she had been abducted in Panama City Beach, Florida. Authorities say Flores had no knowledge of the abduction, but was asked to transport the woman to Louisiana for prostitution. Flores was arrested in Mississippi when his van broke down before he made it to pick up the kidnapping victim. He pleaded guilty in October to transporting another woman who was with him when he was arrested. If convicted, Flores could face up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine.
One of Meridian, Mississippi's most historic buildings will be demolished despite recent efforts to restore it. A structural engineer in the Mississippi Department of Archives and History have assessed the building, and they say the building is just too far gone to be able to save. The old Fielder and Brooks drugstore is often referred to as the Council of Federated Organizations building. It served a prominent purpose during the Civil Rights Movement. In 1964, the building served as the office for the Council of Federated Organizations. During that time, it was a one-stop shop which brought together the resources of 4 prominent civil rights groups. The 3 civil rights workers who were killed in neighboring Neshoba County that year even worked in that office. Within the last year alone, there were a number of efforts to try to restore the historic building, but it's been deemed unsafe due to structural issues. City officials say that although the building is going to be torn down, its historical significance and what it represented to so many people will still be preserved.
That is an extremely significant building to the civil rights movement, not just in Meridian and not just in the state of Mississippi, but throughout the South. And as a consequence, we'll want to memorialize what happened there, even though we've lost the building.
The building is located on 5th Street in the heart of Meridian's African American Business District. City officials say a contractor has been contacted to do the demolition. At this time, there is no official word on when that will happen.
The Tennessee Valley Authority is encouraging many of its employees to retire early or resign. TVA is the nation's largest public utility, and its plans include reducing its workforce and cut its spending to save $500 million a year in operating costs. The move will allow the company to keep rates more in line with neighboring utilities like Energy Mississippi. TVA supplies power to nearly 9 million people across 7 states, including Mississippi.
Mayor Matthew Cleveland of Mount Bayou is asking citizens to boil their water for at least 1 minute before consumption. The city is repairing a water line along East Martin Luther King Drive. Mayor Cleveland did not give a specific date when the water line will be complete, and we will update you once the boil water alert is lifted. If you have questions, you can call Mount Bayou City Hall at 741-2913.
President Obama is headed to the Justice Department Friday to lay out reforms to the nation's surveillance tactics. You'll remember former National Security Agency contractor Edward Snowden touched off a heated public debate when he exposed government secrets.
Danielle Nottingham is at the White House with what's likely to change and what's likely to stay the same.
President Obama is getting ready to outline his plans for overhauling the nation's surveillance programs. CBS News has learned he plans to keep most existing programs in place, but add new government oversight. That does not go far enough for the American Civil Liberties Union, especially concerned about the bulk collection of phone and internet data.
We think this whole program is not only ineffective, but it's unconstitutional.
Members of the NSA review panel told lawmakers they did not find any case where the bulk collection of data stopped a terrorist attack. But they told the president the program should continue.
It does carry the potential going forward to prevent a catastrophic attack on the United States.
White House sources say the president plans to keep data that's collected in the hands of the NSA, even though the review panel recommended it be stored with private companies.
And the question is how to avoid that potential abuse. And one of the ways we decided it makes sense to avoid that is to take it out of the hands of government.
As for spying overseas, President Obama has decided to require higher-level approval for surveillance of foreign heads of state. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, the White House.
More cold air spills into the Delta and then a warm-up just in time for the weekend. Your weather is next.
And one online retailer is making a bigger push to attract brand names. That's later on WXVT. It's your Delta News at 10.